What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 68 of Lured Up, the podcast where we take Pokemon Go way more seriously than we do ourselves. Today is Sunday, March 3rd, 2019. I'm your host, Ken Pescator, joined by my co-hosts Adam Tuttle and Melissa Pescator. Hi, guys.
What's up?
Hey.
And we're also joined today by Nick from Trainer Tips. Thank you so much for coming, man.
MGs.
He's here.
Oh my G.
Oh, man.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No, dude. Thank you.
No, we're super excited to have you on, man. It's our community has really been buzzing and super excited. So it's I think it's really cool that a lot of the YouTubers are starting to mix it up with the podcasters. I think it's a cool dynamic, and
don't
really
lie,
appreciate
Ken.
you coming on.
You've been fangirl texting me nonstop. I'm like, keep your cool, Ken. Keep your cool.
Don't break the magic, man. All right, a little housekeeping really quick before we get to know Nick. This podcast is powered by Patreon. Please check ours out over at patreon.com/gottawatchemall, where you can support this show for as little as $1 a month. And that $1 will get you access to our patron exclusive Discord, which is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people.
It sure is.
And I want to give a huge shout out to our show supporter tier patrons, Brittany, Jay, Jessica, Keith, Matt, M. Pitts, Terry, David, Chris, Sydney, Bacon L, and new for this week, Josh the Noise. Thank you so much for checking us out over on Patreon.
Exactly. When I hear his name, that's what I hear in the background of my head, the party one.
And also huge shout out to our in the Discord tier patron, AZ Lincoln. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Patreon has been great lately, and
So much love.
the Discord is a lot of fun.
love
So
you
it's
guys.
It gets out of hand very quick.
Yes. Very quick.
Yeah,
Well,
you may want to turn the notifications off between midnight and 4 a.m. because it gets a little rowdy up in the Discord. All right, but on today's show, we're going to get to know Nick from Trainer Tips, hear about his channel, the history, and kind of dig into his perspective on the game at large. Pokemon Day was this past week on Thursday, the 27th. Smeargle is here. He's a total frickin' troll. Melissa's got a really good story on that one. Mm-hmm. There's been a Safari Zone announced in Singapore. We're going to take a deep dive into Niantic's presence at the Mobile World Conference in Barcelona, Spain. A lot of really cool, nerdy back-end shit that we will get into that may put Melissa to sleep.
Oh, God, help
but
me.
It's really fantastic and interesting and really great news about the future of AR tech and how that can kind of have an impact on Pokemon Go. So we'll dig into that. And then finally, we'll do our Dialga raid guide and battle party. Yo, new tier 5 boss. That's big.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I'm happy.
He's the strongest. Well, he's going to be like the best dragon.
It's freaking awesome. It's, he's very cool looking too. he's got
I
sex
agree.
appeal. Yeah, he looks really badass. All right, let's get to know Nick. Nick, thank you again for coming on the show. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of what you do on your channel, where you're from, the kind of elevator pitch on who you are. We'll get that shit out of the way, and then we'll start digging into the game.
Sure. My name's Nick. I have a channel called Trainer Tips. I live in Long Beach, California, home of Snoop Dogg. I think that's how most people know it. Maybe a Sublime.
That's
If there's any Sublime fans out there.
Dude, I think it every freaking time I hear it, I'm like, so funny. LBC.
Yeah. I mean, at least we're on the map. And I just like to play Pokemon Go, but I try to incorporate a little more than that. There's always strategy. The channel name is Trainer Tips, so I try to provide as much information as possible. But beyond that, I like to, bring a little bit of the real world into it. So with the travels and culture and all that, just kind of mix it all together.
Yeah, I think that initially what really attracted me to the channel, not only because it was one of the first things, like if you just did a basic search for Pokemon Go information, in the very beginning, there was a assured difference with the style of filming and all that kind of stuff. It was definitely a different dynamic from what I was used to, because I would watch a shit ton of YouTube and gaming on YouTube, but there was never any element necessarily of travel or cinematography kind of blended in that went beyond the vlog style format. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really what kind of set your channel apart and what really drew me in. And even with Melissa, because it became like a staple. You're watching your videos. That was like what we did, as we wrapped up, our night. We lay down in bed, get under the covers.
We both enjoyed it because Ken was more into the Pokemon, and I thought your artistic element, the way you shot and edited your videos, was just intriguing to me. I love the music that you use. So
yeah, the music is what hooked me.
Yeah, you had
I was
me
like,
for
man,
a
I'm
different reason.
pumped. I know what I'm watching. I can't wait.
Yo,
and then you just dig in, and it's consistent.
That Cubby record, That Cubby album, man.
Right.
When I heard that theme song, I went and bought the albums, and I played the shit out of that. Like that was our grinding music for so long. Like we would go play, and like when we would go play, my son would be like, "Yo, put on Cubby, put on Pathfinder." Yeah, hell yeah, we played the shit out of that.
That's
that
awesome.
was so funny, man.
I'm so glad to hear that. I've heard that from a lot of people.
It's so synonymous with your channel now. It's pretty funny. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
But so why don't you give us a breakdown of your history with Pokemon before Pokemon Go? Because I know that, a lot of the YouTubers that we've had on the show have a longer history with Pokemon beyond what they're covering on their channels. So you have a long history with the Pokemon franchise as well, right?
Yeah, it goes all the way back for me to Gen 1. I want to say like 9 years old when the original Game Boy games were first released in the US, when the cartoon first came out in the US. So I was like the target demographic at that time. And me and all my friends we like dove in head first. So I have so many memories from playing like Gen 1, Gen 2, all the way up. I've played every generation of Pokemon games. Some more than others. The earlier generations definitely a lot more, but I've been a fan since the beginning.
Which cartridge did you start with?
I started with blue version.
Yes!
Yeah.
Another blue, man. Everybody's on the blue. I'm telling you, I was a red. I was the only one that got red. It's like, man, everyone's
I
blue.
had red too.
You had blue.
Charizard.
You had, I don't know.
I had to share with my brother.
Your brother had both. But, oh man, all right, another blue. But no, that's really cool that you have a long history of Pokemon. I think that when you go into Pokemon Go and you understand the lore of Pokemon and what the world of Pokemon and the caliber of the story and the canon and all that stuff is all about, you have a different appreciation for it in Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go has really been the catalyst to make this stuff come to life, that we've had in these games for so long. So yeah, that's great that you have a lot of history, man. I always dig on that. And who's your favorite Pokemon?
All time, Celebi. Gen 1, though, I got to give a shout out to Sandshrew, my original favorite, and actually the reason that I chose blue over red, because it was a version exclusive. So I had to play blue if I wanted Sandshrew.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's, I know the favorite Pokemon question is hard, because it's like, you always have that one that you could tie back to, the roots of your love for Pokemon, but it's always like a flavor of the week. Like, who's your current favorite Pokemon?
No,
'cause
right.
that kind of, but that's what I mean. Snorlax is your go-to.
No, but it'll never be anybody else. Like, if there's others.
What if there's like some new Gen 8 fucking spin-off thing?
Mew comes and coughing is.
Yeah, only if like Delibird evolved or had
Munchlax
a
is
baby
the only
form.
thing that can come kind of close. Really, honestly.
No.
Delibird needs a baby form.
Oh, baby Delibird would be
Delichick.
awesome.
Delichick. All right, it's already in the game, right? Come on, it's a simple add-in.
All right, but Nick, we talked about the cinematography. So explain to us and our listeners how that element of shooting videos and editing videos and music choice and all that stuff. You had a history of working in YouTube prior to Pokemon Go, correct?
Yeah, before my channel, I was working with my cousin mostly. He's an actor. He's been, yep, there you go. He's been in Hollywood for like 30 plus years now. So I want to say it was late 2014, end of 2014. I started working with him, and he just kind of needed someone to help him shoot stuff whenever he had ideas. So I was kind of around the world of YouTube for a little bit, just paying attention to what was going on, kind of experimenting with him and his content and seeing what worked and what didn't. But at the same time, also just watching a lot of YouTube. So I watched a lot of Casey Neistat was 100% like my go-to guy. That was back when he was doing daily stuff. And just seeing the response, I mean, my personal response, of course, but like the entire, I guess his entire audience's response to what he was doing, that was a big inspiration in what I was doing with my channel and the way that I decided to launch it and format it from the beginning. I mean, the cinematics were important. When I was watching his videos, that was one of the things that really kind of drew me in, because it was more than just someone kind of walking around and narrating their day. Like that, sure, that's only entertaining for so long. Unless you're like really interested in the person, I can't sit there and watch someone just talk about what they're doing. It's just, I feel like it's...
Melissa says that shit. She says that all the
agreed.
time. She's like, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
Well, here I am sitting in a car. Gonna catch this Pokemon.
Yep.
No,
I got that
Exactly. And then
Pokemon.
it's like, next scene, now I'm here catching this. Next scene, now I'm
Yeah.
here. And for me, it's like, show, don't tell. The less I have to talk about what I'm doing in a video, the better, I think.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great
Interesting.
point. No, that's a cool kind of little thing there, because that makes a lot of sense, because the scene will kind of dictate
Yeah,
the
it's
feel.
doing the
Right.
script
right.
for you.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's video. If I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing, I might as well write a blog post.
Exactly.
Right. There you go.
That's really cool, because I think that with the introduction of the cinematography into Pokemon Go and the travel element and the exploration element, it kind of plays into the core, one of the core pillars of the game of getting out there and going, and actually exploring. And I think that it set a trend and a direction for YouTube at large when it comes to Pokemon Go coverage, that you saw a ton of Pokemon Go YouTubers come up, and all of a sudden people have an increased excitement and interest into cinematography and proper lighting techniques and, the time lapses and things like that. Like, it became kind of part of Pokemon Go on YouTube, and you don't really get that with any other game because you don't have that exploration element. And even the Ingress videos were not as exploration based as like what Pokemon Go videos had become on YouTube. And I think that trend was just great for the game and great for the game's coverage, because that's what makes the videos exciting to watch, and why I could watch 10 different YouTubers in the same week covering the same content, because everyone's in a different place and everyone's got a different vibe and a different style. And I think that's
Yeah, seeing something you love being done around the world
exactly. That's
Right.
that's the game
by
changer.
people who love it.
Yeah, because I'm stuck in freaking Jersey. I ain't going anywhere.
I'm stuck in New Hampshire.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, I'm not going.
I mean,
to
at least I have some
Singapore.
mountains that I can mess around with a little bit, but unless I go way up north, there's not too much.
All right, but I got a couple listener questions. We put it out there on Twitter and in our Discord of, if anyone had some questions they wanted to ask you. I got some really good ones here. Now, I apologize if you wrote in. I had so many questions. I had to limit it to just 3. So I'm so sorry, but, maybe we'll post some questions online that will keep open-ended. But, here we go. We got a couple questions here. Pidgey Grabber, he says, if you could create an event, what would it be? How long would it last? And where would it take place? So the ultimate event, I guess, is what he's asking. This is like,
Oh, man. Why would he do that to you?
So Nick,
Oh, man.
Nick, I'm sorry, dude.
Right? Way to put me on the
the
spot.
world is your oyster. The world is your cloister. What is your event like?
So I'm assuming live event, because he's asking where would it take place. I think for me, as difficult as it would be, this is like dream event. So we would somehow build the infrastructure to make it possible, but somewhere really out in nature. Like, I mean, you've seen in my videos, I really like going to national parks and getting out away from the city. And
Yes.
from the beginning, that's kind of what I think myself and a lot of people who are following the game before its launch kind of wanted or were expecting, is that, you play the main series games and in the cities, it's like Rattata, it's Pidgey. And then you have to go far out into the tall grass, climb a mountain to find like legendary Pokemon.
Right.
So let's pick like, I don't know, some national park. Where do I want to go? I want to go to Glacier National Park. I'm having my event
All right.
there.
Okay.
That would be fun.
What would it be? It would just be a bunch of us hanging out, playing Pokemon Go, hiking, I guess.
It's just all we would need. All we would need is a place to park and cell coverage.
What would be the special spawn of your event?
I would love to have like a legendary. Like, you have to climb a mountain for a legendary.
Yeah, you have to go on like a vision quest. Like, it
Yes.
starts at the bottom of the mountain. You gotta hit up certain Pokestops in a certain
Oh my
order.
gosh.
By the
Well,
time
no,
you
persistent
find
AR,
you
and you
find
have to go into
yourself,
AR
and then you
mode.
can find Mew. Like, come on, that'd be awesome.
Yes,
That'd be
and first
hilarious.
person to get there is the only one that gets it. And then it gets
man,
super
that's rough.
competitive.
Oh,
Somebody
Yeah,
just
yeah.
has their drone
Turns into
and
the
they
Hunger
fly it up
Games.
with their phone. They're like, oh, I already got it.
Be like tripping people up the mountain, knocking them down. Yeah, that would be really cool. So not just an event where you say, like, hey, there's going to be a blanket, bonus there's going to be this shiny. Yeah, there's a mission to it. I like that. That's kind of really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it ties into like research. You
thing.
could totally make some research out of it, but definitely far away from the city. That's the main point.
Yes.
I agree.
Hell yeah. No.
Yeah, I like that idea a
that's
lot.
Awesome.
That's one thing that bugs me about the game now is that when you leave far away from the city, you can't really play. Nothing really spawns.
Yeah. The rural plight.
It's like I want the stuff you don't really see every day out in those random spots.
Well,
because nobody else is out there.
But
so
that's
I
the
want
thing.
them because
You go
nobody
out
else
there
is going to get them.
You go there to get the change in biome. You know, the non-urban Pokemon. Like we'll get a lot of electric stuff by us. You know what I mean? Like we want. You know, there's no rock, you know, to get rock Pokemon, like where the hell do I have to go? And then you end up going to those places and then you don't have coverage. You don't have cell
like
service,
Chanseys.
you know?
Right.
Like where can I
Yo,
go
Melissa's
to
hung
find
up on the
frickin'
Chanseys.
bro?
You're hung up on the
Where are
Chanseys.
they?
Where are
They
the
don't-
Delibirds?
They don't exist
They're
anywhere.
missing.
See, like, Chanseys, like, remember we were like at the beginning, they were like, you gotta go to a hospital. The Chanseys will spawn
They
at a hospital.
should.
Listen, I went into the woods across the street from my house to find a Chansey. I saw one on the radar and I literally like walked into the middle of the woods to find it.
And you never
course you
found it,
did.
right?
No, I found it.
Oh, you
Sounds
did?
great.
Yeah, I thought I posted it. I definitely posted it.
You have a
Adam.
That was fun.
I bet it was.
All right, I got another question here. This one's from JC of Pop Punk Pokemon. Great AR photographer and that we had on the show a couple episodes ago. He says, with the recent Go Snapshot update, how soon do you think Niantic will start incorporating a wider variety of poses or attacks, like Bulbasaur's Vine Whip or Pikachu's Thunder Shock? Imagine if you could do that. If you could like initiate attacks and get those animations, that'd be badass.
No, that would be amazing. See, it's a hard question to answer. I get a lot of these questions like, when do you think this will happen? And I mean, the honest answer is I have no idea. I don't know better
Pull
than
out
anyone
like
else.
the crystal ball. Let me pull the crystal ball out.
Right? Like, for me, it's just a guess, but I do agree. Absolutely. That's something I would like. That's something I'd like to see in Go Snapshot is the ability to trigger more than just one animation. Because you can still sit there and wait for a second animation, but to tap on the Pokemon, it just keeps doing the same thing over and over again. And they've fixed some of the things that I didn't like about AR Plus, which was, you know, sometimes I'll spend 30 minutes trying to get the right photo. With Go Snapshot, it's a lot easier to set it up, but there's still kind of that waiting involved. So how soon? I hope someone's working on it. I think it's a different team that's working on Go Snapshot compared to like PvP or anything like that. So I think they have these separate teams working on different features. As far as how soon, I don't know. Soon, I hope.
Yeah, the answer is when they're ready. When they're ready, they'll release it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just whenever it's done. No, that would be really cool. But JC, man, I'm with you. I would love to see that because, you know, then you just have a deeper pool of what photos can look like. You get more diversity of photos. It's like everyone's taking the same, you know, pictures of the same Pokemon, but now that would open up a whole realm of, you know, a different.
Well, yeah, because you can interact with your environment more depending on what the attack is.
Exactly. Yeah.
People get so creative with AR photos. I love it. I mean, it just opens up more opportunities.
Yeah, I've seen so many people in our community turn into artists overnight, and it's just like everyone's into it. It's like, man, this is fantastic. Like so many people are involved in doing it, you know, that had never done anything like this before. I think it's really cool how accessible it's become.
Yeah, and it's great marketing as well. If people are posting this stuff on Instagram, you know, everyone's posting their AR photos.
Go Snapshot is massive. Yeah, it's insane. It's smart.
And Pokemon are so cute.
Everyone and their grandma has a picture up.
Yep.
Their grandmother. His grandma and Delibird.
Oh, I like that picture, by the way.
All right, I got another question. This one's from YouTuber Infamous Big Rob. We're actually going to be featuring one of his videos later in the show. Says, this is a good one, actually. Says, I've been making Pokemon Go videos for a year and a half now because my love for Pokemon and creating are unmatched by anything else. I was greatly inspired by you and started my channel to follow my dreams of traveling and becoming a real-life Pokemon master. Rob, you are a Pokemon master. For that, I thank you. My question is, what advice do you have for someone that puts in a lot of hard work into their videos, but sometimes gets discouraged from continuing? It gets harder and harder to get noticed. What's your advice for people that are already on YouTube that, you know, are putting in the work, but not necessarily seeing the reward yet.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks, Rob, for the support. I appreciate that. YouTube's a weird place right now. Over the last, since my channel started, it's gotten strange. And Pokemon Go, it's a difficult kind of realm to break into. It's pretty saturated, right? You know, a lot of people have their content creators that they watch, that they go to regularly, and I think we're seeing it a little bit more now, but it's kind of difficult for new people to come up in the community. So with YouTube, absolutely, you have to be passionate about it. You have to enjoy what you're doing. There's a lot of people who are like, I want to make YouTube videos because I want to make money doing this. And that's not the right way to approach it, because it really is hard work. Like, you have to do it because you want to do it. And it sounds like, Rob, you enjoy doing it. So that's definitely the first step. The second step is that YouTube really is a game that you kind of have to learn to play. And I'm sure people have noticed that my sort of titles and thumbnails have evolved over time to be a little bit more eye-catching, a little bit more clickbaity, maybe. And that's kind of a result of that. That's what YouTube is. That's how YouTube works. That's what the algorithm is feeding to people. You need to grab people's attention. So
that's like a game too. You need to play the YouTube game too.
You need capitalization. You need arrows. You know, there's certain things that are just
those
part
arrows.
of it. You know, it's like they work. And there's hard proof of, you know, all the stuff you can quantify. You know, if a thumbnail has an arrow in it, is it gonna convert better than one that doesn't? Like, this shit has been hella tracked. You know what I mean? So it's like it is a very interesting thing that, you know, all this stuff can be kind of gamified, like you said, because it really is. You just have to learn the rules and play within those rules, and then, you know, exploit the hell out of what you can, and then that, you know, that's what works.
The best advice I can give to someone who's really wants to come up in the Pokemon Go community is collaborate. I think collaborating is the best way to grow your channel organically right now, because it just exposes you. It's probably the easiest way to expose your content to a new audience. So try to collaborate with as many people as you can in the community.
I agree with that.
I guess this is a perfect time for a shameless plug of this project that I've been working on. Is I'm going to be putting together a Pokemon Go YouTube creator roundtable on Google Hangouts. We're going to broadcast it. I'm going to try to do it at least once a month, where we get a bunch of creators together to kind of talk shop, best practices, and not necessarily do it as a news or informative thing, but actually get people together to talk about the industry, talk about the process, and talk about the state of how to market yourself and things like that from those perspectives. So that's something that I'm actually working on right now. And if anyone's out there that wants to get involved, you know, get at me, because, you know, Big Rob is going to be definitely involved with that. And, you know, a couple other YouTubers are already kind of on board. So yeah, I think the collaboration thing is a fantastic tool. And as a podcaster, it's the same way. Like, you know, the first guest we ever had on this podcast was other podcasters. Mm-hmm. So it's like that alone is, it does dividends for, you know, just it pays for itself in the time that you would, you know, need to work out a partnership with somebody. It's fantastic, because it does just bring you to a whole new audience that's into the same stuff. So it's like, you know, finding that crossover is great. So that's really great advice, Nick. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And actually, we all kind of touched on this before. The music in your videos is something I wanted to ask about, because like I said, I became a huge Cubby fan, and, I listen to a shit ton of chiptune and all that stuff. And Cubby is someone that for me now is in my, like, you know, normal rotation. And, you know, when I listen to that album that you've, you know, used a lot of the music from, it's like, it's almost synonymous with your channel. Like, and there's no way I can listen to that music without thinking of your channel. It's so awesome. But what goes into like your process of choosing music? Is it, do you find the artist first, or do you film first and then kind of look for something that would fit the scene?
It kind of depends on what I'm shooting. Most days, I just kind of pull something from the catalog. So every once in a while, I'll just spend hours searching for Creative Commons licensed music, stuff that I can use. A lot of times, you know, I support a bunch of different artists on Bandcamp or Patreon or wherever to get like regular releases from them. And
That's
Cubby
cool.
was one of those where when I was looking for music for the channel, when I was looking for like a theme song, chiptune was definitely the vibe I was looking for. Something that was not entirely chiptune, but definitely had some chiptune kind of, I don't know, sounds, I guess.
Right, the aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's, you know, it's a game, but it's also real life. So I kind of wanted to combine those two in the music. And I happened to find Cubby. I don't even remember how. Maybe just on SoundCloud. And just, I was like, this song sounds great. I'll use it. And for the first couple months, I think I used Cubby's music exclusively in the videos. But now, yeah, I just kind of, I have a couple different SoundCloud artists or like labels that release this Creative Commons music. And usually I'll go through and tag them with like a feeling, a mood. So that way when I'm filming or when I'm looking through my footage and I know how I want the video to feel, how I want the cinematics to feel, I just look through my tags for a song that kind of matches that mood.
I dig it.
Oh, that's
really
wicked
cool,
interesting.
man.
I dig
That's
it.
some cool insight.
That's the secret
that's so
behind
neat.
it, I guess.
That's really cool, man. That's super cool. All right, I got a good one for you, and this is something that, you know, has kind of developed over time, and there was really this pivoting moment for all of Pokemon Go YouTubers. But early on in your channel, I remember you know, softly voicing frustration in the beginning that you had like no contact with Niantic, and it seemed like they were doing things in a direction that wasn't aligned with the community. And I remember you like, you know,
Dude, I remember you going down to the Niantic thing and like standing out front of the door like, let me in.
Oh, I got all the way in, yeah. That was an interesting day.
That
He
was
said
so
all the way
great.
in.
That was
We
so
joke
great.
about that. We
That
still
was so
joke
great,
about that,
though.
actually.
Do you?
That's so great. But I remember the frustration, like, you know, hey, like there's some heavy duty users out here that, you know, have very, very good feedback to give. And it seems like they're just not listening. And we're right freaking here, you know, where some of them are in San Francisco. And it's like, so how was it that day when you got the call initially from Niantic? Like, was that like the craziest?
Did you shit your pants,
yeah.
bro?
Was it like
Did
a
you shit your
aha
pants?
It
moment?
Because I
was
would've
it was
shit my pants.
crazy. No, it was crazy for sure. I got an email and it said like, hello from Niantic. And this was right before the first Pokemon Go Fest. And immediately after I got that email, I got a DM from Reversal and he goes, did you just get this email? And, like, we all started talking to each other, like freaking out that they actually contacted us. So yeah, I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere. It was a huge surprise. Obviously we were all planning on going to Go Fest anyway, but then they reached out and they're like, yeah, we want to bring you out here for the event. And it kind of all just got started from there. And now it's in such a better place than it was, obviously. And,
Right.
you know, at the same time, like getting this peek behind the curtain, I also have learned and kind of come to understand why it took so long, that there are all these kind of processes, like these things that they have to go through behind the scenes. And I've always kind of suspected it also. Like, it's not just Niantic, it's the Pokemon Company. There's so many layers to what they're doing that not everyone in the community kind of realizes.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely, it's so much better now.
Now, like seeing some of the Go travel stuff and, you know, bringing you out to safari zones and all this stuff, like really high levels of production. And I was, you know, poking fun with Reversal and Holly and saying like, you know, how is it like working with a crew and, you know, having handlers and all that stuff? That's got to be so freaking bizarre.
It is. It's really strange because, you know, I'm one guy. For all of us, we're one person. We do everything. We're the talent. We're the host. We're the cameraman. We're the editor. We do everything by ourselves. And to have, you know, 10 or 15 people working on this production that ends up being as long as one of our videos, you know, it's a whole different world. But it's also, it was really cool for me because it's something that I'm interested in learning more about, working with a bigger production, because I feel like what I'm doing right now it's not scalable. And I think you see this with a lot of YouTubers. It's difficult to scale this type of content or this type of work because I am one person. So if I'm focused on, getting a video up every day, going out, filming, editing, it's hard to really grow beyond a certain point. So
gotta get a team together.
Yeah. And so that's something that I'd like to explore moving forward. So it was definitely a good learning experience to be around and be involved in all that.
I'm sure just being around all that tech and all that gear is pretty fucking cool too. Just seeing
the process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I shoot with a camera every day, and then they pull this stuff out, and I feel like I have no idea how it even works.
Like,
It's crazy.
Like, I wish I had that camera. Come
It's
on.
a whole different level.
It's beautiful.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make a vlog with that camera.
That'd be a heavy ass monopod.
Yep.
It would need to be wheeled.
Definitely not one hand in the game with that thing.
Right.
So I'm a big fan of PvP. I'm running a Silph Arena League for 3 different communities in my area. Like I'm all about it. We cover PvP a lot on the show. So you started doing a significantly higher amount of work with the Silph Road. And I've seen on your videos that you talk about the Silph Road now as if you're directly involved with, what's going on over there. Can you elaborate on what you're doing with the Silph Road and specifically how it relates to PvP?
Yeah. It's something that we were all excited about, myself, Dromps, pretty much everyone in the community, even though the adoption hasn't been as high as we kind of hoped for. But yeah, it's something that I think a lot of us wanted from the beginning. From that initial trailer, we kind of expected it to be a thing in the game. And finally, 2 years later, we got it. So as soon as they started hinting that it was coming, we started talking about it because we really do want it to take off. I think with the amount of people that play Pokemon Go, if Niantic can get the system right, if they can make it interesting enough to watch and to participate in, then we absolutely have a shot at going full on esports with it. So I think that's kind of the motivation, the goal behind what we're doing with the Silph Arena, with the Silph League Arena. So myself and Mystic 7 initially were talking about it, and we did that first live stream, right after
great,
PvP
by the
came
way.
out.
I mean,
it was a lot of fun.
That was fantastic, and I think that really set the tone of like what could the possibilities of what this could be, in terms of broadcast media.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a huge test run for us to just see like who is interested in this, how can we make it work. We put that whole thing together in like a day and a half of planning because I think it was like a day and a half after PvP actually launched in the game. Yeah. So to see that went so well and to consistently have, I think we had like 7,000 viewers concurrent like throughout the entire stream. It was amazing to see that many people were actually interested and to see kind of the potential that it has. And so I think that's also what Dromps and Marco and the rest of the Silph Road team are kind of hoping for, or were hoping for, or saw in it. And obviously they have a huge infrastructure built out. They have 10,000 plus communities on their map around the world. And that's just like a huge infrastructure that's already laid out to start building this competitive league. So we just kind of combined our efforts from the beginning to kind of see how far we can go with it, see how big we can get this thing to go. So yeah, the hope is to eventually have regional tournaments, have world championships, to host big tournaments that we will broadcast and live stream alongside the big events that are coming up, like Pokemon Go Fest or like Safari Zone events, and just kind of see how close to esports we can get. And hopefully, if we can get this whole thing big enough, then maybe we can have some amount of influence on the decisions that Niantic is actually making. Because if Niantic sees the potential in what we're doing, then our hope is that, they'll start kind of playing along and facilitating it and focusing on PvP in a more competitive way. So big plans.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think that it's going to probably, even with the volume and activity levels that the Silph Arena has now, I think that it's a force that cannot be ignored at this point, because with the success of, the last round of tournaments and, myself, using the Silph, software to do all these tournaments and seeing how like amazing it runs and how easy and accessible it is, and seeing the amount of, you know, participants in my tournaments growing and growing and the excitement growing and growing. It's like, it's all going in such a great direction. Like I'm very, very excited to the future. And we've discussed on the show a lot, like what it would take for, you know, Pokemon Go PvP to become like not just an esport, but a full blown like arena size spectator sport. You know, I know that's light years away from, you know, Twitch broadcasting or some stuff like that. But I mean, you know, how far could this go? Like, I think that it's a lot of excitement there, and it's a great conversation and a lot of cool, you know, it's a good campfire conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? To like how far that could go. But yeah,
There's so much
gassed up
potential.
for PvP, man.
Yeah, I think the main thing that Pokemon Go has going for it, a part that sets it apart from any other game, is the AR aspect. And I made a video about it a couple weeks ago. But, you know, talking about like the future of AR and all these companies that Niantic's been acquiring, the technology that they're working on, all these demos that they've put out with like Codename Neon, these shared AR experiences. And I think if they really are able to create a shared PvP experience where everyone could kind of see what's happening in AR, then that's, I mean,
game changer.
That's going to blow people's mind
Game
the way
changer.
that Pokemon Go did the July 2016. So I think it could really,
Yeah.
you know, grab a lot of attention if they get it to that point.
Yeah, and we'll actually talk about that in a couple minutes as we talk about the when, you know, John Hankey's
Perfect.
keynote speech that he had and all this, because I mean we typically go into that the tech side of AR on the show as well. So you know, we've kind of been following the real world platform and what Niantic has been doing with it and how they're promoting it. And we always, whenever they do an acquisition or a round of funding, we cover that as well. So we've kind of been on the up and up, and it's really cool to start to see some of this stuff and these acquisitions already starting to, you know, show themselves as a voice of Niantic. It's pretty freaking powerful. It's really cool. So we'll get into that too.
Awesome.
All right, man, I got to talk about it. The day your channel went down, because
What a day.
this was, I was awake like the night when everything actually happened. I was awake and I started getting Twitter notifications, started getting, you know, Reddit notifications, and, you know, Mystic 7 was awake. So he's like, you know, immediately tweeting it and like, no one had heard from you. And I'm like, yo, I bet you he's fucking sleeping and he's not even going to know about this until he wakes up.
Yep.
And like, how was it waking up that morning, man? Was that like absolutely bananas?
It was so strange. I think it happened at like midnight or 1 a.m. and I was already asleep, or I had stopped using my phone and was getting ready to go to sleep. So when I woke up, it was like, I don't know, 7 a.m. And I woke up to these messages like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? What happened to the channel? And I'm just thinking, I have no idea. What are you talking about?
Like, what are
So
you
I started
talking about?
looking around, like I'm reading Twitter notifications, trying to piece together what people are asking me. And then I went to my YouTube app, or my YouTube Studio app, which is like the dashboard. And it was just my, like my other channel. The Trainer Tips channel wasn't on the app at all. It was completely gone. So,
Wow.
yeah, that was just a wild day, kind of piecing together what happened, trying to get in contact with whoever I needed to at YouTube. I mean, I don't know anyone directly at YouTube, so it was just kind of like make as much noise about this as possible until someone responds. And luckily, like a lot of people amplified it. A lot of people, a lot of friends that I have who actually do know people or have contacts at YouTube were really helpful in getting me in direct contact with the head of YouTube gaming. And it was a Sunday, so like no one was really working, but he was able to help me out and I guess have someone look into it, and the channel came back up. But geez, what a mess.
Wow.
Dude, it was so crazy. Like, I remember like everyone losing their minds going like, this is someone hacked their shit, or like, someone,
Right.
planted a bug. Like, this was all, pitchforks and torches. And I'll admit it. I'm typically that guy. You know what I mean?
You came running into the room. Like, the door went flying up. You're like, oh my God, Cherry Chip's channel is down. And I was like, what?
The British are coming. The British are coming. It was like wartime. It was so funny, man. I mean, it wasn't funny for you, but it was like the community was going absolutely bonkers. And I just remember everyone, like all the speculation of what was going on. And then, kind of as the as things started to make sense and people started to kind of really unpack what was going on and figured out that this had come down to the whole CP thing. What a freaking whirlwind, man. What a whirlwind. And then watching the video you put up on your other channel, kind of explaining what was going on, I was right there with you. I was like, really, at the end of the video, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, honestly, so bizarre. So bizarre. And so weird that it was like this simultaneous thing with you and Mystic 7. Like, that's why it seemed so suspect. It's like, how is this going to happen now?
To just these specific people.
And this old ass video. Like, the video was ancient.
Yeah.
So weird.
It was us. It was, there was another guy who does like Fortnite videos now, but he had a couple Pokemon Go videos from 2016, and one of his got hit because that had like 1 million views on it. So he was, along for the ride with the rest of us.
That's like a total blindside. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
You just wake up, you're like, what's happening? Like, where's my shit?
I logged into
Where?
YouTube on my work computer the other day and jump onto the channel and like all the lured up stuff is missing. I'm like, what's going on? I had restricted mode on in that computer. So I was like, I was losing my shit because I thought one playlist was gone. You know what I mean? Like I can imagine like a massive
Losing
channel.
Your entire channel.
Wow.
But,
honestly, in the grand scheme of things, after finding out, what all was going on actually with YouTube and why we got caught up in this recent algorithm change, the whole thing just kind of felt like it really wasn't that big of a deal for my channel to be down for half a day, considering what's actually going on YouTube. So
yeah, dude,
just a
it
wild
was
world.
crazy. Like when that stuff started coming out and, seeing the validity behind it and what, that whole fucking subculture, like of disgusting people. It was like, what the hell, man? It was like, it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And I mean, look, think about the amount of parents that now have a little bit more knowledge of understanding that they need to, get more proactive with protecting their kids and all this shit. Like we have a 10-year-old son. I mean, my son's got a channel with 4,000 subs on it. He's got like, 5 million views because he had a couple big videos. And it's like, so that, it's scary as hell because I mean that, the comment sections are freaking toxic as hell. Like I can, people, and he's 10 years old. He's got videos when he was like 6 and 7 years old and like the comments are insane. But like what really came out of that and learning about that whole network and how that the whole process of how that operated and kind of just flew under the radar. It was like, holy shit, man, this is a much bigger picture here. This is way, way bigger than Pokemon Go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm kind of almost grateful that it was sort of brought to my attention so that, it's days like that where I feel like building up this channel has actually kind of manifested into something almost meaningful. Like, I never wanted to be recognized. I never really cared that people knew who I was. But when I have the opportunity to make people aware of something that I feel is important, that's when I really appreciate the ability to do that, to get that message out to as many parents as I can. So,
that's great, man.
Crazy
it's
stuff.
a good use of the platform. Absolutely. On my personal Facebook page, I mean, I typically don't cross the streams too much with Pokemon stuff on my personal Facebook page, but like this kind of brought things forward because it received coverage from the media, from BBC. The whole combat points thing really was freaking hilarious, by the way. That was like the greatest thing ever. But like it received notoriety in the press of what was going on, and it was linked back and sourced to a Pokemon Go incident that kind of uncovered all this shit. And it really was bizarre how much traction, this whole thing picked up, and rightfully so, because, a lot of this stuff needs to be talked about, and I think because of it, a lot of parents are better informed, now than they were before. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm definitely of the wiser.
All right, I got one for you. Multi-accounting. This is a top, a heated thing on our channel. We talk about it a lot. Do you give a shit if people are multi-accounting?
So, here's the thing. In life, in general, I've always kind of just had this like live and let live attitude about most things. I feel like if what you're doing isn't hurting anyone, then that's fine. So the same thing goes for multi-accounting. If you're using them maliciously, if you're like kicking people, if you're shaving gyms or like filling up gyms with all 6 of your accounts, I feel like that's just, come on, like that's not a cool thing to do, regardless of game or whatever. Just to abuse sort of I don't know, abuse the system in that way, not cool. But if you're just kind of like you need help raiding because you have no one to raid with, whatever. It's just like I've almost kind of removed myself from this whole conversation. This multi-accounting, spoofing, I don't bring it up anymore. I don't address it. I'm just kind of like, well, you know, Niantic will do what they can about it. They'll do what they want to do about it. I know the way that I like to play. I'll keep playing that way on my channel, but I don't need to I've never felt like I needed to start these conversations or to call people out or to, you know, make this whole big deal out of it when I could just go on doing what I'm doing and hope that that's, you know, at least an example for people.
So you mentioned that, you know, you were never into this to get notoriety or recognized. That's noble. I get that completely. Now, a couple of years ago, when the game first started and your videos first started, you're talking about Casey Neistat and how, you know, what I really dig about his blogs is you really get to know him. You really feel like you know him. And, you know, he's very, very personable. And with your vlogs at the beginning, I felt like there was a very, very hardcore element of yourself and your own personality coming out. And now I remember you saying like things about social anxiety and how that stuff kind of is counterintuitive to the Pokemon Go experience because you want to get out there and play with people, but you know, you don't really want to be in a crowd or anything like that. So how has that dynamic kind of influenced how you've made videos and how like in the past you kind of had a little bit more of an openness to your personal life that you don't really see in your videos now? How has that developed and changed like over time for you?
Oh man, it's it's kind of been a journey with figuring out this whole thing. Like I feel like the channel took off so quickly that I was kind of playing catch up for like a year and a half, just trying to understand everything. So from the beginning, Casey Neistat was a huge influence and he's so open about sharing everything.
Right.
And I liked that. I liked that in his videos because it really felt, you know, it was really genuine. And I think that's something that does well on YouTube. Obviously, if you're real and if people feel like they can get to know you through your content, that's going to resonate more with them. They're going to feel more attached to that. And so that's kind of what I aimed for in the beginning. And it kind of ties in with like the whole cinematics, the whole show don't tell. It was sort of like, this is my life and here is how Pokemon Go fits into it. And so the format was always like, I have a topic, because at the beginning there was infinite amounts of information to go over. So I would have a topic, right, but I would go over that topic throughout the day as I'm actually doing things. And a lot of times, you know, that was like dinner with the family or meetings with whoever or whatever it was. I was putting a lot of kind of personal stuff in there. And I don't know that there was really ever there definitely was a point where I realized what was going on. But after people started feeling like almost like they were involved in my relationship, that's when I kind of realized like, this is too much to have people, complete strangers to me. Obviously they feel like they know me because they're commenting these types of things, but like to have complete strangers commenting about your relationship or asking about your little brother or how's your grandma doing, it's kind of weird. It's weird. Yeah. And I know it doesn't feel like that to a lot of people, and that's good. I think it's a good thing that people feel comfortable enough with me that they can ask these kinds of things. But then after a while, I really kind of felt like this is not for you. Pokemon Go is what I share with you guys. The travel, the culture, I can talk about all that. But my life and my family and my relationship, I just kind of felt weird once people started just asking about that stuff or talking about it as if they knew me, you know?
Well, because because your audience fell in love with not only you, but with your family and the people that you interacted with. So they became part of your show, you know?
Right.
They became part of your show.
And that's the hard dynamic change. Like
it's finding that balance between
tough.
the personal and making that switch to that balance.
Right. I think that's part of it's one factor that contributed to the channel doing so well in the beginning. It kind of helped the channel stand out. I mean, the format and everything, all of it together helped the channel stand out among what was going on at the time, which was a lot of established gaming channels were covering Pokemon Go because it was the biggest thing in the world.
Sure.
But a lot of it was like, here's my gameplay that I recorded earlier today, and now I'm just going to sit at my desk and talk about it. I went out and I caught I found a Gyarados in the wild. It was crazy. But to actually see that happening, to see the mob of people, the crowds, and like the experience of actually being there, I think that helped it stand out. Along with obviously like just me putting it all out there and people getting to know me and feeling comfortable. Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, they see you in person, like, hey, buddy. It's like,
right.
We go way back, video 32. It's like,
and they like know all your relatives' names. Like one relative, like one cousin
creepy,
that was in the
man.
background that like you heard someone's name being over.
Yeah.
It's like, you wore that shirt in episode 36.
No, dude.
Creepy. No, I get that's no that
I love
can totally
you. Thank you for
I can
being
totally feel
supportive.
that, man.
That's weird.
Yeah.
All right, man, we're done grilling you. I'm gonna run through a couple bits of news really quick. I wanted to talk about Pokemon Day. It was the 27th last week. We did have a small event window for it. The 26th through the 28th, we had the Flower Crown Eevee and Pikachu. So hopefully everyone got that.
I didn't fucking get a Pikachu. What the fuck? Like, honestly, I don't understand. I got one Eevee and I didn't get a fucking Pikachu.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't play the game.
No, but I went and I played. Like a
Not
jerk
enough.
off.
Not enough.
No.
You had 2 days.
No, I finally walked my 2 flower Eevees finally. So now I have the Espeon and the Umbreon with the flowers.
Oh,
finally,
nice.
So.
I need to get
Like
around
on
to
one of your recent videos, you pushed your research task and it was a 402 Pikachu. You didn't just get rid of that one, right?
I
You
saved
kept
it. I saved
okay.
it. I
saw all the
didn't
comments
actually
that said 100%, and I was like, I just need him to respond. I need to know that he didn't get rid of it.
Yes, I kept it. I didn't even, because, you can't mass transfer them, so I just kind of like keep them. And then I read the comment or one comment that pointed that out, and I was like, oh god, did I actually keep that? I like immediately opened my game to check. So yes, I do still have the 100% Flower Crown Pikachu.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. That is so huge. All right, Smeargle did come out. He's a freaking troll. Continuing with what we're doing, talking about a up and coming YouTuber, infamous Big Rob. Like he said in his email earlier, he's been doing this over a year now. He's been pumping out videos consistently. What I really like about Rob's style is he's out there every freaking day grinding his ass off, and I appreciate that about him. So he made a great video talking about Smeargle and how all the mechanics of that work. I'll link to it in the description. But as we jump through this, navigate where we are here, when Smeargle came out, no one knew how to get it really, or if they did get it, it just kind of happened, and then people were taking thousands of photos afterwards, not knowing you can only get one per day.
Yeah, no. I took like 100 and 200 fast pictures of the same thing, hoping like
right, because we had no idea. We had no idea how it would work. Nick, I saw your video. How many did you take that first day?
It was almost 1,000. Almost 1,000
Oh
photos.
my! Wait, what? What?
Yeah.
That
God,
sucks.
bro.
That sucks so
It was
bad.
awful.
And were you doing like groups of like how many? Like groups of 10 photos or?
So at first I started off, I thought like, because I actually got to see this feature. Like when we went to San Francisco to meet with Niantic, this was one of the things that they demoed to us. So we got to see it. Like we knew it was coming, but I still didn't know exactly how it worked. So I was like, I'll just make this video where I go out and take a bunch of pictures of a Pokemon, and then I'll get Smeargle, and it'll be really cool, and I can make it kind of meaningful because it's this first Sandshrew that I ever caught. And then it didn't show up, and then I just started bringing out random Pokemon, taking a ton of photos, and then I went down to like just taking a couple photos of each Pokemon. So by the end of it, it was, I want to say like the first 100 pictures were two different Pokemon, and then the next 900 were like 10 photos of each Pokemon. So like 90 different Pokemon.
Oh,
that's so much time
dude.
just going in and out of the menus. Like
That's so annoying.
I was terrible. I was laying on the floor. Like by the end of it, I was just laying on the floor cycling through Pokemon.
Oh man! See, I was standing next to somebody who doesn't play very often. He has the game, and I was like, "Hey, we should trade real quick." And then I got the notification that Smeargle was out, or Ken texted me or something, and I just remember him picking up his phone. He grabs his Flareon, takes a picture. It's the first thing that happens.
No.
The first picture, I was like, "Oh man, let me bring out my Delibird." Take 5, 10, okay. And then I button mashed it till there was like 100 pictures of just Delibird.
Fill your entire
and then I
phone
backed out
storage.
and then went into my shiny Delibird and did a bunch more, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I just need it with a picture of Delibird. So 265 or 3 pictures later,
You actually got it?
yes. And then we immediately traded them, and so he has my Delibird moveset and I have his Flareon moveset
Right.
on my
That's cool.
Smeargle.
Yo, I gotta say that the way they handled the whole sketch thing with Smeargle picking up the moves of whoever he photobombs, perfect.
I think that's
Like,
totally
Oh, yeah.
you know, we're always so concerned. How the hell are they going to do this? They're going to blow it. You know, I think this was a fantastic and
Yeah,
very
they
outside of the
couldn't have
box
done
and
better.
creative way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very cool. Cameraman badge, 10, 50, and 200 photobombs. That's a long
Oh
freaking
my
drive.
god, 200 photo bombs?
That's
Jesus
a long
God.
drive to 200.
I still don't have I don't have the rat badge. You fucking
think
kidding
I'll
I
me?
just
Gold
transferred
on
a bunch
this.
of tiny Rattatas.
Oh,
Fuck
God.
God. And Smeargle sucks because I sat here the other night trying to get him. I mean, I don't even know.
But we had
hours.
we played for like literally 2 hours taking pictures in the kitchen, in the living room. She was dancing with Ludicolo. Like
It was fun.
We were off our asses cracking up. Like, but it was like 2 hours of trying.
And finally, I get the picture. I see him. I was just like, oh, fuck, there he is, right? White screen of death. And the game crashes on me.
She's like, I'm done.
And it's gone.
I'm done.
It's gone. And I haven't got one since.
I was like, it
Those
was
days
one of those
ago.
moments where I was just like, let me also close the game and just walk into the
Fire.
other room because
Fire. Straight up. Of
lasers
course
are going to
that
come out
happened
of her
to me.
eyes. She was so mad.
Oh man.
I was like, please tell me the game did
But
not
that's
crash.
just
But
my
yes,
luck.
the game did crash and she got beat on it. So
That's the
I'm so
story of
sorry.
my Pokemon life.
Oh, they did announce Safari Zone in Singapore. This is going to be the
Yes.
April 18th through the 22nd. Sentosa, Singapore.
Is Nick going?
I am going.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's rad.
They say this region is known for pristine beaches, tropical landscape, and a wide range of entertainment.
yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Tropius will be breaking the region lock, which is great. Also timely because you can use them in the Great League for PvP. And other Pokemon featured in the promotional image: Unknown, Lapras, Exeggutor, Shuckle, and Dratini. And I guess the rumor mill is Shiny Shuckle from this event. Would
I
be
think that was
pretty
actually
cool.
confirmed on the
Was
event
it?
page, like the ticketing page, the official page where you like sign up for tickets. It does specifically
there
say Shiny
you
Shuckle
go.
on there.
Shiny Shuckle.
Ah,
Awesome.
Sucky.
That's good. That's a good one. Shuckle is a fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but yeah, we'll look forward to your coverage on that, man, because yeah, I know you'll be hooking up with Brandon Tan and all them out there. So that community is freaking insane. Totally insane.
It is. I'm super excited to get
Please
back
take
and
some awesome AR pictures.
say hi to everyone.
Yes. The deep dive I did want to take on today's show. Now this is going to get a little nerdy, Melissa. I'm sorry.
Help me.
But look,
Deep
this
breath.
is exceptionally important, and it's just big news in the world of AR and for Niantic at large here. So, PokemonGoHub.net put out an article kind of recapping what happened at this event. So, the NWC is the Mobile World Congress. This is a huge conference in Barcelona where, you know, the biggest mobile developers in the world congregate to show off new tech and, you know, just share their information. It's very cool. And they actually did an in-game event to kind of coincide with this in Barcelona where they had Double Stardust and Lures and all the stuff going on there too. But what was happening inside this event was the most important thing. And the GSMA, so this is, what does it stand for? It was the Global Special Mobile Association. This is a conglomerate of like 350 mobile developers that they represent and kind of just have this aggregate kind of association with. Their CTO, his name is Alex Sinclair. He put out a great quote that I think was very relevant to what this kind of MWC conference was all about, and says, quote, "Both VR and AR are disruptive forms of immersive multimedia that, combined with operator edge cloud and 5G connectivity, will transform the cost structures of the enterprise and entertainment fields, end quote. So we've been talking about it on the show, the future of wearables, the future of where AR is going to go. What the most important thing is going to be the cost to market and bringing those costs down. And this is kind of what the focus of a lot of people coming to Mobile World Congress were talking about, is this new edge cloud technology mixed with 5G. Now, what it really means for us, the user, is it's moving the storage power that you would really need for AR and VR from a computer, or if you had like something like a HoloLens, it's still running off a PC. You know, it moves the processing power and storage away from that and closer to the user by putting it in the cloud. So that data can then be pulled from local cloud data storage dumps rather than have to go back to a physical machine. So allowing the communication of this data to happen locally will allow for exceptionally low latency when it comes to AR. And now this is what is going to be a game changer when it comes to a shared AR experience. So John Henke had a keynote at this conference, which is fantastic. I'll link to it in the description. It's only like 15 minutes long. It's worth the watch. He explains the history of Niantic, going all the way back to Keyhole, talks about Google Maps, and says that Niantic was founded on these three primary goals. Now, this is very insightful for me because I'm just nerdy like that. I want to know about Niantic and I'm very intrigued by this. So he says Niantic was founded on these three primary goals of exploration, meaning there's a story in every neighborhood, exercise, and that we all need an extra nudge to get out there and do something to exercise.
That's
and
true.
Social, a face-to-face, old-fashioned interaction. These were the three pillars of what Niantic was out to achieve through their software, through their games. They also put up a bunch of stats on screen that were fantastic. Over 23 billion kilometers walked by users through Niantic games, 190 million friend connections, over 3 million people have attended Niantic real-world events, which is absolutely insane. Ingress, which is the second largest AR game, has been downloaded 25 million times. And look at the gap here from Ingress to Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go now has over 1 billion installs.
That's
1
crazy.
billion installs.
Dude, that's insane. That's like absolutely insane. Available in 150 countries, over $2 billion in revenue. All right, boom. Statistics are out of the way. Niantic Real World Platform. This is where things start to get interesting because it has a much closer connection to Pokemon Go. With the Real World Platform, that was built on 4 pillars. The gameplay engine itself, meaning they're going to create this one global instance. Everyone that's playing Pokemon Go is playing in the same world. The Pokemon spawns for me, it spawns for you. We're in this thing together. Social, the mapping, and then ultimately advanced AR. And again, with Niantic developed technologies, this is what they want, what they're able to achieve to have cross-platform APIs that can, make it run on iOS and Android, and we're still in the same space. So during their last round of investment, Niantic partnered with Samsung Ventures. They have different partnerships with like Deutsche Telekom, where they're starting to they're manning the helm of developing 5G handsets. And 5G, what it seems like from everything I've learned from this conference, is that 5G is necessary for Niantic to implement the vision that they want with Pokemon Go and ultimately Wizards Unite and Ingress. So 5G will allow them to have an AR cloud, which when someone's looking through a device at an AR space, in real time, they're mapping that space out in the AR cloud. All that data goes back to a shared location. So I'm pulling information from the mapping that your device is providing. That was the Escher Reality investment. When Escher Reality came in, they developing these persistent spaces. This is really what we're talking about here of what's going to power that, the engine behind it. Really, really freaking cool shit.
Is this like that video you shared and where they're looking at all the Pokemon just sitting there and they're kind of like walking around the room and then they look out the window and you see the gyms out in the distance, but they're actually like overlaying buildings?
That was the conference Japan that happened last week. And again, that was through the HoloLens. To run these HoloLenses, you need 5G. And I found out that the tech that they were running at this conference, they were running on prototype 5G devices. So that's how they were able to pull this off, is because they were running on a 5G device.
Oh, really?
So
the one in Japan or at MWC?
Yes, the one at MWC. And then edge computing, which pairs with the AR cloud, is going to allow that localized access to that data from a local location, from a local storage place. So rather than having to retrieve it from the server, it's going to be cloud stored somewhere local to the user. So the closer it is, the quicker they're going to be able to access them, get and bounce that and ping that data back. So that's really the framework of what's required here for them to implement this vision of being able to have larger scale real world events, because 5G will allow for a significantly higher amount of connections per square kilometer. So not only is it giving computing power, but it's giving user storage capability. So think about, and he even made a joke kind of, burning himself a little bit about the success of, or the misstep of the first Go Fest, how, they're talking about how they pushed 4G to the limit and in some cases have pushed 4G beyond the limit, making a joke, poking themselves on Go Fest. But if they had 5G, it would allow for such a higher concentration of users per kilometer that it would be a much safer space and environment to have these huge real world, high demand AR shared experiences. So it's all boiling down to real life stuff with a lot of people.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait till this year's Go Fest.
And then really, to wrap it up with a bow, it's latency. Now, if anyone plays competitive gaming online, whether it's a shooter, latency is the killer of performance. Now,
oh man, I love playing Overwatch and I should be killing somebody, but it's just no, I'm already dead.
That shotgun, you hear the shotgun sound, but nothing happens in the game,
yes,
or vice versa.
Exactly.
So what 4G provides us is about 100 milliseconds of latency between devices, right? So John Henke in his keynote said that for them to really provide a PvP experience in a shared space, they would need latency of 10 milliseconds, something only 5G can provide. So really, again, it's the clock is ticking on 5G, because once we have 5G, I think it's going to be a fucking game changer for lots of things in our lives, but especially this game. Now, Codename Neon, Nick, that you had mentioned earlier, this demo is fantastic. It showed a group of 4 or 5 people all in a circle kind of playing this digital dodgeball style game where the latency was so low that they were able to physically dodge the objects as they were coming towards them in the AR space. That's how accurate it was. It was really, really cool. And Niantic even brought that to the NWC and let people go into a room with these 5G devices and try it themselves. And all the feedback I saw from that was people fucking raving about Neon. So I'll link to that video in the description, and it shows these balls of energy being fired from one person, bouncing off the floor and hitting a person across the room.
And you're looking at your phone.
And you're looking at your phone and you're seeing...
But literally, I could see the ball of light coming towards me on my phone, and I can jump away.
In real time.
Fucking...
As if someone
you can walk around
that's
Snorlax.
What the fuck?
Just like if someone bounced a tennis ball to you. Like that, with that
that's
level...
so fun.
Yeah, it's...
And
now,
so crazy.
Now
at
you
the
think
same
of that
time.
from how that could apply to PvP, where you have a shared space, multiple people looking through multiple individual devices, but looking at the same persistent AR thing. And, oh man, it's fucking awesome. This is the future. I'm telling you, it's going to be so awesome. All right. I'm done with my nerdy rant. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Oh my
gosh. It wasn't terrible. You got through it fast.
No, but really though, this is, I encourage everyone to get educated on AR technology if you're interested in where this game can go, because I think it helps put into perspective how we say, oh, I want this in the game. I want this in the game. But when you really learn what it takes to provide that kind of stuff, you have a little bit of a better understanding, and it kind of humbles you a little bit to say, okay, maybe what I want out of this game, it's not Niantic's fault that they just haven't given it to me yet. It's just
but the Veruca Assaults of the world, we are all going to
Melissa
still
just
say,
wants new
I
outfits.
want it now. Give it to me now.
She's like, I don't need 5G for new outfits.
Exactly. All I need is a new necklace. Hook me up.
Haircuts. Different
give me a
female
freaking different
hairstyles.
hairstyle. What the fuck?
Nick,
How
what do you
hard
think
that?
is missing from the game, Nick? If there was one thing that you think is missing from the live actual game now, not pipe dream stuff, like a real quality of life thing, you have anything that you would drop into the game today?
Oh man, I'm sure there's a ton of things that I could think of if I was playing the game right now.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
I was looking at it right now.
I want to be able to delete eggs. Just let me delete eggs. Please.
Yeah, delete eggs.
Okay.
I want to delete
Yeah.
eggs. Come on.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, that's an easy one. That one would not require 5G technology.
I don't know.
Give
That's
me
the
their
type of
fucking
thing that-
stats without having to hit the goddamn appraisal button. Just fucking put it right there on the screen underneath them.
Overt IVs. Yeah, let me see the IVs.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh
if that'll
man,
ever come to
that's
Pokemon Go.
Why?
yeah,
That's
that's
the big
that's a
one.
Pokemon
That's the
company
big one.
thing.
Do it. That's so stupid.
Look, it's a distinguishing
Niantic.
factor.
I want it now.
Oh, hey, you know what? Community out there, let us know what is one small quality of life thing that would not require any new breakthroughs in technology that you would like added to the game. This is actually a good exercise because there's a lot of times someone would be like, oh yeah, that would, you hear something. It's like, that really would make a big difference in how I play this game, or that would make my life a lot easier.
Like, I would spend hours customizing my character, doing different hairs and outfits. Like, I'm cool with buying like the different outfits.
A couple bits of miscellaneous news. We're going to skip our battle party this week. We were going to do Dialga. We're going hella long, so we'll skip that today.
What? Wait,
I know.
well,
What?
okay.
No, we
skipping
can't
the
stop
battle
that.
party.
What?
We're skipping the
What?
battle
Stop that.
party.
No, we cannot skip the battle.
We got to
party.
skip the battle. It's too
Bro,
fucking
it
long.
takes 2 fucking seconds.
We're an hour and 20
we just
minutes
at
in.
least do the fucking cheer, and we say who we're bringing, and then we call it a wrap. And you say, and in the link, I'll put the fucking shit.
The something, yeah. I'll put the link or
I'll put the shit.
the
in the
words or
Nick, are you down to do our jingle?
He has to, Nick. I'm sorry. You have to.
I don't think I have a choice.
All right, here we go, guys. Sing it with me.
Battle party.
Battle party.
That was so.
Did I get it?
We definitely got it. I punched Melissa in the process, but we got it in our laughter. That's perfect. All right, but yeah, we were going to do a Dialga party. I'll put it in the description, the counters and links to that. PokeBattler put a fantastic article together detailing the best counters. Just bring your fighting Pokemon. Bring Groudon. Bring the champ. You'll do fine.
Yeah.
All right, a couple bits of miscellaneous news. I would be remiss if I did not mention the Pokemon Direct and Pokemon Sword and Shield have been announced. This is the new Gen 8 game coming to Switch later this fall. Check out our other podcast, Gotta Watch 'Em All, episode 60. Episode 60, Adam and I will be discussing Pokemon Sword and Shield in greater detail. Check that out. I'll put a link in the description. Oh, Adam, you got to talk about Project Moose.
Oh my gosh. Yes, guys. Project Moose is finally complete.
I can't
There
believe
is
you
now
did
a
it, bro.
Pokestop.
This is insane. This is absolutely insane. So how long has it been since the first
The initial.
mention of...
Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Power of editing. Beep boop, beep boop.
All right, let me catch everybody up real quick. Guys, if you don't know what Project Moose is, there's this moose statue, this wooden moose at the end of Adam Street. Adam lives in a rural area, doesn't have a lot of Pokestops. We said we need to go on a mission to make this freaking moose a Pokestop for him. Adam started playing Ingress, right? Started
Yes.
grinding through that. Through the Ingress community, met people that were already part of Operation Portal Recon that were willing to go in and submit the moose for him. We've had listeners write in and say they're going to help out. They're going to vote. They're going to put their votes in for Operation Portal Moose. And it's
Moose Recon.
It's a fucking thing.
It is.
January
It happened.
January 30th, and it happened on Wednesday. I came home, and it was there, and I was like, yes!
So less than a month, we turned the moose into a
Into a
Pokestop.
Pokestop.
Well done, everyone.
Yes,
well
give
done.
yourselves a round of
Yes,
Well
applause.
done,
thank you.
Ingress community.
Thank you,
Thank you
community.
so much. I think that is so freaking cool. And again, we've talked about it in great detail, how you can really take a proactive approach to your community and developing the map through OpenStreetMaps and getting involved through Ingress and Operation Portal Recon. And then hopefully soon we'll have the ability with the nomination system in game. But fantastic project. Project Moose is a go. So freaking awesome.
Congratulations.
Yes, so freaking cool. Let's jump over to Go Ranger real quick.
What's up, everybody? It is Go Ranger Matt, and this is the Go Ranger Check-In.
All right, so there's a lot of things that have kind of wrapped up during this window of recording here. We had the big turnover of research. There's a ton of research for March and April. I'll put a link in the description. Go Ranger will have everything detailed in their field guide, so you can see what's out there. There are still encounters that are going to help you with your special research for Meltan. So if you still need Anorith and Laleep and Kabuto, you could still get those through March and April. So don't pass up these opportunities if you're sleeping on your Meltan quest, because I don't know how long they're going to keep spoon feeding you opportunities with Anorith and Kabuto and stuff. So get it while you can. Dialga is going to be in Rage through March 28th. We've had the increase in the shiny Meltan boxes. That's pretty much wrapping up as you hear this. The Tempest Cup is going to be running all month from the Silph Arena. And like I said, April and March research breakthrough is all part of one big thing, the pool of research breakthroughs. So let's talk about it real quick. Are we excited? Are we excited that the Reggies are back in here? Now,
well, I don't have all of them.
But what about Ho-Oh and Lugia? Those
are awesome.
That's what we wanted, right? But now we've got the dogs, we've got Ho-Oh, Lugia, we've got the Reggies. Is it too much?
Yes.
It's a lot.
Or is it just that the Reggies sour everything? I don't know.
Honestly, I'll take one Regirock and one Regice for PvP for Great League.
Yep.
But aside from that, yeah, not feeling it.
I think I would like these better if there was a maximum of 3 Pokemon in the pool. I just think it's a little bit too much, especially if you're someone that isn't completing research every day and you might only open 1 or 2 of these a month.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
I know,
so
I opened
random.
mine
It's
and
too
got
random.
a low.
I think they're trying to encourage trading with it.
We talked about that on last week's episode, how kind of Niantic's strategy is really how this stuff kind of overlaps, and one mechanic kind of pushes you towards another, and another brings you back to, a different mechanic. So yeah, I get that completely. Mm-hmm. All right, Trials dug up a bunch of stuff recently, including some Equinox event research. Could this be Leafeon? They're all grass based research tasks. So put on the tinfoil hat, do the patented trainer tips. Because everyone's kind of saying Leafeon. Yes, everyone's kind of thinking this could be Leafeon. I don't know what it could be, but there's some stuff in there. New avatar poses have dug up. This is really cool. There's definitely one of the female ones where she's just going like, "Hey," and I fucking love it. It's really funny.
Oh, they got some sexy poses up in there.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones. There's a couple booty shots here. It's nice, but I'll put the images, a link to Trails on Twitter so you can see what these poses look like. And I do want to do a little promotion really quick. Next week's episode, we're going to have Zoe 2 Dots. The week after that, FLW videos. The week after that, most likely JT Gilly. So we've got a lot going on in the show.
That's fun.
Make sure you spread the word, spread the gospel. We would appreciate it. And I also want to promote a new page I built out on the website, gotawatchemall.com/contests.
Ooh.
So I've got our 2 contests for our 2 podcasts up there. Check it out. I want to throw your community a lure party. So send me some photos of your dry ass Pokestops that are not raining down petals, and you could be in the running for a monthly contest where I will provide you with the means to throw a 3-hour lure party.
Get free shit, bro.
Get some free shit. All right, that's pretty much going to wrap up the show. Nick, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. We really, really appreciate you coming over to the podcast side of the fence.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to know you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. I don't think of myself as someone who talks a lot, but sorry we went up so far over time. I'm on YouTube. Trainer Tips is the channel. That's really the only place that I want you to find me. Don't come looking for my house.
I appreciate that.
That's good. Link will be in the description. That's pretty much it. You guys can email us, info@luredup.com. Check out Gotta Watch 'Em All on luredup.com, all that good stuff. I'll put links in the description.
Alrighty then.
Thank you guys so much. Nick, thank you so much again. And we'll see you guys next week. Keep on training, trainers.
All right.
Bye-bye, friends.